A boy named Hamada tries to escape from an invisible person, but ends up being killed. High school student Kaname Sudo receives a message from his friend Hamada inviting him to participate in a mysterious online game, Darwin's Game. Strange things start happening after he initiates it. He hallucinates himself being bitten by a snake and is randomly challenged to a deadly combat with a man dressed as a panda named Bandakun. Before we continue with the video, don't forget to hit that like button, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to help us keep bringing more summaries like this one. Now, let's get to the video. Kaname is saved by his other friend Kyoto, who explains that Darwin's Game is a cruel real-life survival game that pits players against each other. During a match, there's no way to ask for help except within the game. Additionally, the game grants each player a unique superhuman ability known as Sigil, with Bandakun's ability being the power to become invisible. Kaname fights bravely but is eventually overpowered until, by sheer luck, a car collides with the invisible Bandakun, immediately ending the fight. Bandakun's body is then gradually teleported, leaving only a pixelated sculpture on the ground. While Kaname is fighting, Kyoto dies from blood loss, having been cut by Bandakun earlier, but leaves a message for Kaname, telling him to survive. Kaname's victory as a solo rookie player catches the attention of a high-ranking player, Shuka Karino. Shuka invites him to a warehouse to answer any questions he has about the game, where Kaname is forced to accept that he cannot exit the game. When he can't use his sigil and the app can't analyze his power, Shuka attacks him using her chains. In the heat of battle, Kaname uses his intelligence and skills to evade her and manages to unlock his sigil, the ability to recreate weapons he has touched before. He sets a trap for Shuka and defeats her. Realizing that Kaname really knows nothing about the game, and having seen his sigil, Shuka surrenders, forcibly ending the match so that both players stay alive. The two then spend the night at Shuka's mansion. Shuka invites Kaname to join a clan, a group of players in Darwin's Game who battle and earn points together. She tells him that many in the game play because victory points can be used as currency within the game or exchanged for real money, advising him to use some points to temporarily hide his name on the challenge list, especially after defeating two high-level players. She also tells him that it's forbidden to reveal details about the game to any non-player, under the risk of being forcibly teleported. Shuka and Kaname receive a notification for the first major event in Darwin's Game, a treasure hunt event in Shibuya, sent only to selected players. After a confrontation with a mysterious player known as Inukai, who warns him to protect his phone, the two are separated and teleported to the city center in Shibuya. The event involves each of the 300 players collecting at least 3 rings before time runs out to survive, even if there are only 300 rings available. Each ring also has different point values depending on the gemstones inserted into it. On the 27th floor of the hotel building where he is teleported, Kaname encounters Rain Kashiwagi, a high school student known as the Analyst, for her ability to obtain and sell information, including details of her location that allowed Inukai to find him. In addition to himself, Rin, and Shuka, Kaname is informed that Wang, the leader of an infamous clan called Eighth, which claimed Shibuya as its territory, is also participating in the game. When he leaves his hotel room, almost 10 players have been killed in the hotel, and the floors from the 25th down are barricaded with thick vegetation. Ran warns Kaname against using the elevator, and her predictions come true when 4 players who chose to use it appear, having been drugged by narcotic plants to attack the two, who are the only survivors in the hotel not under mind control. Rain suspects that the one responsible for all this is a player known as the Florist, who has the ability to manipulate plants, and Kaname deduces that he is using the hotel's security cameras to direct his soldiers. Creating a machine gun, Kaname and Rain destroy as many cameras as possible, using light grenades to escape and hide from the soldiers. Having disabled several surveillance cameras, Kaname and Rain head to one of the self-locking hotel rooms to hide and plan their next move. Based on the destroyed cameras, the Florist correctly discovers where they have been hiding. However, Kaname and Rain set a trap for the Florist, with Rain disarming the soldiers and distracting him, allowing Kaname to reach the first floor and locate him in the hotel's control room. Kaname and the Florist, a middle-aged man whose real name is Ichiro Hiragi, engage in battle, and initially, Kaname is at a disadvantage due to the Florist's impenetrable plant defense, his elevated combat ability, and the side effects of excessive exhaustion of his sigil. However, Kaname has a vision of a man similar to him using blacksmith tools to sculpt weapons, motivating him to explore the limits of his ability. Kaname awakens again, creating a machine gun strong enough to penetrate the Florist's armor by sacrificing the durability of the weapon to win the fight. Rain, reuniting with Kaname, informs him and Hiragi about Eighth's intention to attack the hotel to steal all the rings. As everyone is completely exhausted, Rain proposes they form a temporary clan to fight fight against 8th and protect their rings, a proposal that Hiragi accepts. As 8th prepares to invade the hotel, Konami forms an improvised clan with Rain, Ichiro, and Ryuji Maesaka, the player to whom Konami gave a ring before becoming a puppet of Ichiro, in the elevator. While making preparations for 8th's arrival, Rain realizes that the values of the gem points do not align with the appraisal values, leading her to think that there is much more to this event than the rules indicate, and the goal may be something beyond gathering 3 rings. Meanwhile, Shuka sends a distress message to Kaname as she encounters Sui, whose sigil allows water control, in the subway, and Sui floods it, trapping Shuka underwater. Kaname and Ryuji head to the subway. While back at the hotel, Rain and Ichiro realize that all the rings have a QR code that reveals a number when scanned. Kaname and Ryuji reveal their sigils to each other, with Ryuji's ability being to determine if a person is lying or not. The two encounter Sui, and at the subway entrance, Kaname enters to rescue Shuka, while Ryuji becomes confrontational with Sui, knowing through his sigil that she lied by claiming not to know anything about the subway. Sui, a child with a dual personality, with the spirit of her deceased twin brother Sota controlling her body, leads Ryuji into a trap in a convenience store, using the bottled water in the fridge to attack. However, before she could deliver the final blow, Sui regains control of her body from Sota to prevent the attack. Afterward, Sui agrees to join the clan. Meanwhile, Kaname rescues Shuka, and after performing mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, Shuka gives him her first kiss. Shuka explains her reason for participating in the Darwin's game, which is to seek revenge on a player who murdered her parents. The 4 gather at the convenience store to get to know Sui better. Night falls, and the next set of rings is distributed, with the grand prize, the diamond ring, appearing at the hotel, giving Rain the opportunity to obtain the ring's code. Ichiro reveals that he plays the game because he needs money to support his daughter Suzune, who has a fragile heart. With the 8th invading the hotel, Ichiro takes possession of the rings to use them as bait and help the other clan members hide their location. He sets up an ambush in the hotel, killing several members of the 8th. Rain takes advantage of the distraction to run towards Shibuya Station. Realizing that the numbers are related to difficulty, Rain concludes that the numbers refer to the latitude and longitude coordinates of the true treasure in this event. Ichiro confronts Sig, whose pyrokinesis sigil puts him at a huge disadvantage. Having set up a trap in the hotel, Ichiro flees with Sig in pursuit to activate it. However, he is ambushed by Keiichi, who, along with Sig, is Wang's strongest henchman, and the two mortally wound him. Using the sigil on himself to stay alive a little longer, Ichiro activates the trap to make the hotel collapse, crushing the 8th members present. Meanwhile, Rain arrives at Shibuya Station and discovers that, although the 8th also found out that the true treasure is there, they couldn't find it despite searching the entire station because they haven't seen the diamond ring's code yet. However, Rain is captured as a member whose sigil allows him to sniff her scent alerts the gang to her presence, while Wang's sigil allows him to teleport right in front of her, which her sigil failed to predict. Wang threatens Rain to reveal the code on the diamond ring, and Rain responds by telling a long story to buy time for the rest of her clan to arrive. Konami takes Rain to a safe place so she can figure out the meaning of the code on the diamond ring, while Shuka, Sui, and Ryuji face off against Wang and his gang in battle. While hiding, Rain discovers that the code 185911 refers to November 1859, when Charles Darwin's book On the Origin of Species was published. Meanwhile, Ryuji tries to distance himself from Wang, having mistakenly deduced that his attacks are only effective at short range, and Wang uses his sigil to attack Ryuji from behind and amputate his left hand. With Wang about to kill Ryuji, Konami arrives with a proposal for Wang, offering him the key he claims unlocks the door to the treasure in exchange for his life, with Ryuji aware that he is bluffing. Ryuji reveals that his brother was killed by Wang, and he seeks revenge. Konami's bluff succeeds in distracting Wang, making him believe there's a chance that his key leads to the treasure, allowing him to grab the treasure hidden in the coin locker without giving him a chance to react. It is then revealed that the key to the code is the number of digits, as Darwin's book had nothing to do with Shibuya Station, and only the coin locker passwords on the south exit use 6-digit numbers in the station. The treasure is a call from the game master on a smartphone to grant Kaname a wish within their reach. Kaname wishes to exit the game, but the request is denied, and he is informed that he can only exit by completing the game or killing the game master. Instead, Kaname uses his wish for something that discourages killing in the game. 2 months have passed since the event with the destruction in Shibuya, officially considered a terrorist attack. With Sui living in Shuka's apartment, she decides to buy a house for the clan to live in. Suzune is visited in the hospital by Hideaki Kanehira, an insurance broker who is also a player player of the Darwin's game, presenting her with an insurance claim for her father's death, while Rin, recovering from a broken arm, becomes friends with her. Rain tells Suzune that she knows what happened to her father, but since Suzune is not a player, Rain cannot reveal the truth. Kanami spends the last 2 months training at the Danjo Boxing Club. While Kaede reconnects Ryuji's hand with her sigil, Kaname asks to form an alliance with the Danjo Boxing Club, and Danjo wants him to prove his worth with a fight against him with sigil allowed. Meanwhile, Kanami's classmate and friend Shinozuka visits Kanami's apartment while he's away and is kidnapped by Keiichi, who survived the hotel collapse. Kaname and Danjo have their fight, and despite Kaname having full use of his sigil, none of his attacks make Danjo even use his sigil. Danjo corners Kaname, but Kaname responds by using a flash grenade that makes Danjo use his sigil to harden his body, thinking he would be attacked by explosives. Seeing that Kaname is a capable leader, his clan forms an alliance with the newly formed clan of Kanami, Sunset Ravens. The duel is interrupted by Liu Shuilin, the top player in the Darwin's game, who uses her secret technique, Assassin's Intent, to make Kaname freeze while feeling a potential lethal attack from her in order to kidnap him. Shuilin takes him for a ride in a limousine, driven by her butler Shiming, and demands that Kaname become the heir to her clan of assassins, but he refuses. The Sunset Ravens pursue the limousine in a Humvee and challenge Shuilin to a clan battle. After initially facing difficulties, the Sunset Ravens manage to stop the limousine by freezing the liquid from a drink bottle with Sota's sigil to destroy a tire. Shuilin surrenders when Seeming points out that she would likely have been killed by Shuka if the duel had continued. Due to limited mobility without the limousine and the ineffectiveness of her techniques against Shuka. With the Sunset Ravens victorious, Shuilin decides to join the clan on the condition that if she kills anyone from the clan, Kaname will be the first. Meanwhile, the 8th sends Kaname a video of Shinozuka held hostage with his fingers cut off, and Wang demands that he show up to fight him. Having located the 8th's hideout in a warehouse, Rain meets Kotori from the Frozen Crown clan to ask for information about the current state of the 8th. With the information obtained, the Sunset Ravens and Inukai arrive at the warehouse. The police are also on the scene, but are quickly massacred due to the lack of sigils. Shuka hands over Shinozuka's smartphone with the installed app, and he joins the Darwin's game, as requested by Kaname, acquiring the power of telekinesis for his sigil. Shinozuka uses his sigil to confront the 8ths, but is completely powerless against Wang. As the Sunset Ravens begin their invasion, Inukai challenges Keiichi to a mano-a-mano combat, and reveals that Keiichi was a martial arts prodigy who abandoned the sport after accidentally killing an opponent and found enlightenment when Wang convinced him to become an assassin. Kaname and Ryuji enter the warehouse demanding that Wang release Shinozuka, only to find him dismembered. With Kaname about to be shot by Shinji of the 8ths, he kills him instead, deciding that killing is necessary in this situation. Having decided to kill the 8ths due to their murderous actions inside and outside the game, Kaname challenges the 8th to a clan battle against the Sunset Ravens. While Kaname and Ryuji deal with the remaining 8ths, Shuka engages in a mano-a-mano duel with Wang. As Wang uses his symbol manipulating space to attack, Shuka activates her wire trap using her symbol to cut off his limbs. In a desperate attempt to escape, Wang teleports out of the warehouse but ends up in front of Kaname. Wang surrenders in battle, unaware that Kaname used his high roller privilege from the Game Master, forcing the challenged clan to bet the same amount as the Sunset Ravens. With the 8ths having no points, Wang and Keiichi disappear. Feeling insulted by his last words being called a poisonous insect, Kaname angrily shoots at Wang as he disappears. Elsewhere, Oboro, having completed an assassination job, is contacted by the Game Master about Kaname's rise. Sometime later, the Sunset Ravens easily capture Shibuya, leaving enough survivors to spread the message of fear that the game is prohibited in the territory of the Sunset Ravens. In the epilogue, an angered Kaname initiates the next event, a hunting game within a forest, thus concluding the first season of the anime Darwin's Game. That was today's content. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to share the video, leave your like, and stay tuned for the next video. Take care.